Stick a thing in like for the maple syrup and then turn it.
I hope you feel better, Alan.
So I haven't left the house since Friday.
Bye bye.
Well, Monday I went for the doctor. Other than that, it's my left leg, so I can still drive. But
Okay.
walking is just no way.
Well,
Okay, we are being recorded.
okay.
All right. So this is our third week in the chapter on Balak. And we had about Bilam and Balak, some fascinating things. They're connected with Amalek, they're connected with Hevel, they're connected with Cain. Last week we talked about Leah and Rachel. Leah's heels are in Rachel's head. Very interesting.
Huh.
And today we're at page 785. And there we are. Don't like the new Zoom.
What's wrong?
It's just some hassles. And we're up to number 44 here in the notes. What was good about this chapter, it was long, but it was neatly divided into 3 sections. So we're now up to the third and last section. Rudy, do a disappearing trick.
Yeah, his pictures there. He walks away. Who knows? It's camouflage.
Maybe the chow bell is ringing. 44. So now the book explains a few verses from Balak, from different books of the Arizal. The pasuk says that Moab was terrified of the nation, and they were disgusted with Bnei Yisrael. The Arizal explains that there are 2 distinct groups. One is the nation, or the people. And this refers to the Erev Rav, the mixed multitude, the people from various nations who joined the Jewish people when they left Egypt. Erev means a mixture, and Rav means a multitude or numerous. So you could say it's the numerous mixture, might be more accurate. And they are referred to as the nation, this generic term, the nation. Their souls derived from the evil of the soul of Cain, as we've learned the last few weeks. The second group is Bnei Yisrael, who are descendants of the 12 tribes who were slaves in Egypt. Their souls were sparks of Moshe's soul, whose soul was from Havel. Okay, so we have one group is the Bnei Yisrael, the first group, I'm sorry, is the mixed multitude or the numerous mixture of people. And the second is the descendants of the 12 tribes. Alan 785.
Moab became terrified of the people, for they were numerous, and Moab became disgusted because of the Israelites. So you go.
Continue.
The mystical explanation of this is as follows. There were 2 types of people that made up Israel in that generation. The first was the Jews themselves who lived in that generation, the source of whose souls were sparks of Moshe's soul, who in turn derived from Chavel. This is explained in our exposition on the generation of the desert on the verse, and a new king arose over Mitzrayim.
Continue.
The second type of people was the mixed multitude, who are referred to in Scripture simply as the people without any qualifier. They derive from the evil aspect of Cain as explained above.
Okay. The pasuk in Balak says Moab was terrified of the nation because they were numerous. This refers to the mixed multitude. The word for multitude and numerous is the same, Rav. Go ahead, Alan.
Yeah, it is with reference to them that it is written, and Moab became terrified of the people, for they were numerous. This refers to the mixed multitude who are described as numerous. The literal meaning of the words translated as mixed multitude, Erev Rav, a numerous mixture. The phrase the people, for they were numerous, therefore quite literally clearly refers to the mixed multitude. Go on.
No,
No,
I'm trying to fix this.
Okay.
That's weird. All right. 46. The next line says they were disgusted by Bnei Israel, refers to the Jewish people, the descendants of the 12 tribes. Now go on.
The narrative then goes on to say that Moab became disgusted because of the Israelites, referring to the Jews themselves, who were derived from Havel. The literal meaning of the words translated as the Israelites, Bnei Israel, is the children or descendants of Israel, that is, of Yaakov. This refers only to the direct descendants of Yaakov, as opposed to Moshe's converts.
Okay, now 45. 47. The next pasuk says that Moab sent a message to the elders of Midian. They use unusual terminology. They say, now this congregation will lick up everything around us as the ox licks up the vegetation of the field. I think the word lap up is the same thing. Let me do the next one, 48. An ox is a term, one of four types of damages discussed in the Mishnah and Gemara. An ox is usually mild and it's not aggressive. Therefore, if an ox becomes aggressive and causes damage, the owner is only liable for half the damages. But if the ox has, because he wasn't negligent in watching him, but if the ox has already been aggressive and caused damage several times, it is considered an aggressive ox or an ox that gores. The owner is liable for the entire damage. An aggressive ox is associated with Esav. There is a line in the Talmud regarding an especially aggressive species called a black ox
What
that
is
is
that noise?
explained in the commentary of the book.
I think it's Guillermo. Guillermo, stop
Oh, what
fidgeting.
I'm doing.
Jeremy, are you making noise?
Guillermo,
Guillermo.
are you mixing chemicals?
Guillermo is doing something in his lab.
Boil,
I can mute
boil,
myself.
boil in trouble. See, I know something. I'm not illiterate. Okay, thank you, Dr. G. Where are we? Okay, Alan, continue.
Moab
Fixing.
said to the elders of Midian, now this assembly will eat up everything around us, as the ox eats up the greens of the field. An ox that has been established legally as a goring ox derives from the evil of Esav, who is the black ox mentioned in the sages' teachings. Once an ox gores other animals, 3 times without provocation, it is legally classified as a goring ox, shor muad, and its owner becomes liable for full damages it caused instead of just half. In discussing under what dangerous circumstances a person may interrupt his prayers in order to flee for safety, the sages said that if an ox's head is in a fodder basket, go up to a roof and kick the ladder away from underneath you. That is, get as far away as possible. For the ox will not take kindly to anyone it perceives as interrupting it from its meal. Shmuel said, this applies only to a black ox in the month of Nisan, because then the Satan is dancing between his horns. Rashi says on this, because the days of autumn have passed when the land is dry, and the ox now sees it full of greenery, it gets high-spirited, and the evil inclination enters it. No longer having to worry about food, the ox becomes mischievous, so it is better to stay away from it. In any case, we see here that the image of a black ox is a particularly threatening type of evil associated with the evil inclination, which in turn is often personified as Esau.
Okay, thanks. Number 49. So the pasuk says, as the ox licks up the vegetation of the field. The vegetation refers to the souls that emit from the union and Zer Anpin and Malchus, the verdant, the stuff that grows, what's produced. And the field is a reference to Malchus. Jim, would you like to continue? 786 at the bottom.
It eats up the greens of the field. This refers to the souls that issue from the supernal coupling from the field that God blessed. This is why they said the field with the definitive article. When Jacob appeared before Isaac, disguised as Esau, in order to receive his blessings, Isaac said, behold, thy son's fragrance is like that of the field that God blessed. Rashi says this means that Isaac recognized on Jacob's garments the fragrance of Gan Eden, which he remembered when he was temporarily there after he was almost slaughtered. Thus, the field that God blessed is the Garden of Eden, or in Kabbalistic terms, the Sephir of Malchus. In this imagery, holy souls are the grass that grows, which is often allegorized as fertilization of the earth by rain of heaven, producing the grass of the earth, the souls that issue from that union, or this union.
Okay. 50. Now, one of Hashem's names is Shakai, Shin Daled Yud, which implies that Hashem is the source of nourishment for all life. The gematria for this name is 314, the same as Hasodeh, the field.
This is
So
also
I'm sorry. So the field, when he says like the ox that licks up all the vegetation in the field, or laps up all the vegetation, it is a reference to the Shin Daled Yud, name of Hashem, that that produces all the food for us. In this pasuk, Moab claims to Midian that the Jewish people are evil and seek to act as a source of klipa, like an ox that is habitually destructive. Go ahead, Jim.
This is alluded to by the fact the numerical value of the word for the field, Hadassah, or Hadassah, 314, is the same as the name Shakai, alluding to the supernal righteous one, who's also called soul of all life, from which all souls take flight. Haseda, Hey, Sin, Dalit, Hey, 5 plus 30 plus 4 plus 5 is 15. Shakai is Shin Daled Yud, 300 plus 4 plus 10 plus is 314. The name Shakai is associated with the Sephir of Yesod, which is in turn associated with sexuality, the area of life that serves as a basic test of righteousness. Thus, the Moabites complained to the Midianites. The Jews are threatening to wipe them out, just as evil threatens to annihilate the holy souls produced by the holy union of Zerampin and Nukva. They saw themselves as the good ones and the Jews as the embodiment of evil.
Okay.
It repeats itself over and over again in doesn't this?
In what?
I said this theme repeats itself over and over again in history, and right now it's very prevalent.
Okay. You want to give an example that's non-political?
What the Jews
Can't
consider
think of
evil.
any.
Well, it's all political. I'm suggesting that the Muslim world and some of the Christian world and a lot of the world, I'd say some significant part, and the communist part of the world and the leftist part of the world considers the Jews the embodiment of evil.
Okay. Very good.
How's that?
Well done.
And it's the same. It's the same, and they're good. I mean, it's the same message.
Yeah, they're right now they're accusing Israel of taking advantage,
Of
opportunity,
Syria.
and taking land in Syria.
Yeah, it's whatever it is, it doesn't. It's just the same thing. You know?
Predictable.
Yep.
Okay, now the next pasuk. This is the third one. Oh boy, this is the third and last one. Next pasuk states that Moab sent messengers to Bilam, to Pesor by the river in the land of his people, with a request to come curse the Jewish nation. Okay, you can read the italics.
So Balak sent messengers to Bilam, the son of Beor, to Peor, which is by the river of the land of his people, to call for him, saying, "Please come, curse this people for me."
Okay, 52. As we said last week, Bilam was a sorcerer, while Balak was a magician. What's the difference? The power of a sorcerer is with his mouth, with incantations, abracadabras, while the power of a magician is with items that are handled. It's with his hands and implements of magic. Bilam was, I don't remember all the ingredients, like I mentioned before, boil, toil, and trouble. Bilam was primarily from Hevel, which means breath. His power was in his mouth, while Balak was primarily from Cain. And we're going to explain this. Go ahead, Jim.
Bilam's power was sorcery, for he derived from the enveloping breath. Enveloping breath. And therefore his power was solely in his mouth. As explained previously, Bilam derived from Abel, whose Hebrew name Hevel means breath.
Continue.
But Balak derived from Cain, who personified action. As expressed previously, Cain derives from Ema, which is expressed in action, as opposed to Abba, which is expressed in thought.
Okay, 53. Balak sent his messengers to Bilam, bearing implements of magic. Balak was associated with Gvura, which is associated with the arms, hands, and fingers, or prestidigitation. Anyone here not familiar with the term prestidigitation? We all know what it is. Okay, good. Go ahead. Continue, Jim, page 788.
Okay, so Balak, he was therefore a magician, for he derived from the states of Gevurah in the arms, hands, fingers, and that is why it is written with magic tokens in their hands.
One moment. Let me do 53 also. Balak sent his messengers to Bilam bearing implements of magic. Balak was associated with Kvura. I said that already.
Yes, you did.
Yeah.
Okay. I'm sorry. Go ahead.
As mentioned previously, Balak's emissaries came to Bilam with magic instruments so that he not be able to refuse on account of not having the right tools. The implication of the verse's phraseology is that magic is sometimes done with the hands, as opposed to sorcery, which is more a matter of incantations and charms uttered with the mouth. Inasmuch as he derived ultimately from Ima, Balak was associated with the axis of Gevura. Both Chesed and Gevura are associated anatomically with arms, hands, fingers, and Chesed with the right, Gevura with the left.
Okay. I'm not clear exactly why Balak is associated with Kavura if it says it would be the right arm too. So, but I don't get that. Okay, 54. Now Balak hoped Bilam, who was primarily from the evil of Hevel, to curse the Jews from his source, from Bilam's source, which is associated with the name Ekia Aleph Hey Yud Hey. This name of Hashem is hinted in two places. It's in these verses. It's the initials of Hashor Esyer Kasada, the ox, the vegetation of the field, like the ox licks the vegetation of the field, and the final letters of Ulcha Na Kavali, and please go curse for me. Both have the letters of Ekia, Aleph, Hey, Yud, Hey, although they're out of order.
Mm-hmm. So
the first is Hey, Aleph, Yud, Hey, and the second one is Hey, Aleph, Hey, Yud. All right, Jim. I'm
okay.
sorry. Hold on. Let's see. Gershon, do you have your book with you?
You did. Yeah.
Yeah, I have my book. All right,
Page
so
788 in the middle.
Balak wanted Balaam to
Yeah.
personify breath, which is the encompassing light, signified by the name Ekie, to curse them from his source, in which he was rooted. Therefore, the name Ekie is alluded to twice in this passage. The first as the initials of the word for the ox, the greens of the fields, and the second as the final letters of the words, please come and curse for me. Both of these letter sequences are permutations of the name Ekie, which has 12 permutations as is known. The ox, the greens of the fields, Hashor et Yerek Hasade, the initial letters of the words are Hey, Aleph, Yud, Hey. Please come and curse for me. Lecha na ara li. The final letters of these words are Hey, Aleph, Hey, Yud. Although the name Ekie is composed of 4 letters and should therefore have 24 permutations, 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 equals 24, 2 of its letters are the same, the 2 Heys, and there are therefore only 12 unique permutations.
All right. Now, 55. Bilam, on the other hand, wanted to curse them from the spiritual source of Balak, who is associated with the name Havaya. We actually find the letters of Havaya, that's Yud and then a Hey and then a Vav and a Hey, in Bilam's statement 3 times. Bilam says to the messengers from Balak, Linu fo halayla v'hashivosi. The final letters of lodge here for the night, and I will get back to you. Then the final letters, and that's Vav, Hey, Hey, Yud. Then L'cha Kavali Oso. Hey, Hey, Yud, Vav. Go curse him for me. And Tova Ora Amilibi. The last letters are Hey, Vav, Hey, Yud. Good or bad for my heart. He said, whatever you tell me, I cannot speak good or bad for my heart. I can only say what Hashem wants me to say. So these are all final letters. The other one we had the name Aleph Ekia, Aleph Hey Yud Hey. Once in the initials and once at the finals. Okay, so go ahead, Gershon.
Balaam, on the other hand, wanted to curse them from the spiritual source of Balak, who was rooted in the inner light, signified by the name Havaya. Therefore, these three permutations of the name Havaya are alluded in the words of Balaam, all in reverse order. The first is the final letters of the word lodge here for the night, and I will give you an answer. The Hebrew for these words is linu po halayla vehashiboti, the final letters of which are bab he yud. The second is the final letters of the words come and curse them for me. The Hebrew for these words lecha kaba lioto, the final letters of which are he yud bab. And the third is the final letters of the word for to do either good or evil on my own. The Hebrew for these words is tova or ra malibi, the final letters of which are hey bab, hey yud.
Okay. And then finally, 56. The spirits in the second stage of creation are associated with the various combinations of the letters of Havaya and Ekya. Klipa only begins to emerge in Bria. Therefore, Bilam tried to curse them from these names in Bria. Okay, go ahead.
The explanation of this accords with what I have told you in connection with how the Sephiros are called in the word of Beria. There, the Sephiros are known by the permutations of the name Ekie and Habaya, and since it is from the world of Beria on down that the powers of evil begin to have dominion, Balaam therefore wanted to curse them from there. As explained in the previous installment, Balak derives from the lights of Ima in Leah's hills, while Balaam derives from the lights of Abba in Rachel's Keter. Thus, Balak is an inner light and Balaam is an encompassing light. The encompassing light is higher and more powerful, but the inner light permeates more thoroughly. Each party therefore wanted to curse the Jews with the other's qualities. The end.
Okay.
Okay. All right. So that was a long chapter. We made it through. God willing, next week we should be good. Let me shut the